Hi, I'm Dr. Innocent. I run the Future Play Lab here at RMIT. I've been designing this game for years in different forms. It's been tabletop, it's been kind of urban play experiment. This is the first time that it's become live action role play where we're closing down a whole street for 2 days to create a world, create a future world, which is what the Future Play Lab is really all about. It's about exploring not only future forms of play, but also how we can play with the future and imagine other ways of being together in the world. So what is this LARP? This LARP is called Reworlding Cardigan Commons. Essentially, we're creating a live action roleplay set in Nam, Melbourne 2050. We follow trends. Melbourne will finally be bigger than Sydney, and people are, whoa, this is exciting. Well, the biggest city in Australia, possibly one of the biggest cities in the Southern Hemisphere. But no, actually that's a big problem because being a mega city means massive strains on infrastructure, massive strains on how we live together, especially given that we're already in a climate emergency. Playing a game set in that scenario could be like, oh, well, this is a serious situation. Why do you make a game out of it? Reason we're doing that is that it's a way to play with that possibility, to explore how we might live together in 2050. And this is an invitation into an urban LARP. So essentially we're closing down a street for 2 days to see how we could build a neighborhood together. So look, I have hope. So one of the core mechanics in this game is really simple. A lot of the way that we design games for urban play is to use things that are familiar already. So marbles, something that everyone knows about, kind of like quite nice to hold. In this game, they represent hope. So like I said, this is not a combat LARP, so there's not anything like hit points. You're not going to take damage. It's more about your resilience in the face of various challenges. So to represent your capacity to be in the game or not in the game, everyone holds some of these marbles. So like I said before, if one of the game masters sees you looking at your phone, you lose some hope.
You all have hope. What do you wish to do with that hope? Please, NPCs.
And if you keep losing hope, then eventually you'll be gone. You'll be assimilated by the AI and you'll be playing for them. So you essentially lose your agency in the game.
Yeah, you can't stop. You can't stop them. No, get away! Out!
This is a really simple mechanic. So there are other events, I won't go through all of them, extreme weather, all kinds of things that happen during the game that can cause you to lose this, but there's also ways to find it as well. So it's an idea in the game.
Guys, get to higher ground! Get to higher ground!
The Future Play Lab is a collective of people designers, artists, placemakers. It's a creative research lab experimenting with this thing called urban play. So our group of NPCs, non-player characters, are all researching different aspects of urban life. And so they're bringing that to this world, which is important because it's not like you have to come to this LARP, to this game, and build the world yourself. There's lots of possibilities. So, the performers are there to help you find secrets, or they might actually try to stop you. I mean, some of those NPCs are the subroutines of the AI that are still active on the street. So even though the AI is dormant, it still has some agents on the street. If one of those sees you looking at your phone, then you're going to lose hope or lose resources.
Oh no, doom scrolling. One hope is lost. Yeah. So now, of course,
My name is Carlo, and I work in the Future Play Lab as a creative producer.
And take us through what you've kind of done on day 1 and 2 of the festival.
Well, we've set the whole thing up, me along with a team of students and graduates of MAGI, like Masters of Animation, Games and Interactivity. I suppose the past 2 days is also the past 2 weeks. So we took us, say, the past 2 weeks to build these palette world designed by Natty. We've gotten him out as well here in the middle of this car park in Cardigan Street. It's mostly a collaboration between Troy and Natty as well, and myself. But really, I think it's just reimagining what Melbourne could look like in 2050, along with regenerative features. We really wanted to use a lot of sustainable materials as well. Just happy to have been working with a team that's just very enthusiastic. There's kind of no dramas at all, and even if the majority of the team aren't really experienced with some of the tools, it's good to have people with really good kind of personalities and humor, so that even if we've built these stuff and it's very, very tiring to do, and we've yet to pack everything again tonight. It's good to have people who have just a good outlook and just enthusiastic kind of outlook about the whole thing, despite being tired. So even if we lack the expertise, we're really coming from an animation and games backgrounds here, so and we need a lot of like hands and tools and all of that stuff. We learn on the fly, but we have fun doing it.
What were some of the challenges that you faced while setting up?
Well, I suppose the rain is one thing. Another challenge is just extra hands, but extra hands makes light work. I suppose I can't think of a challenge really, but it's mostly the time as well, that we can only close down the street for a limited amount of time. We work with that limitations. Even the workshop had to close, and kind of logistical things. But other than that, it's been good.
The challenge first and foremost was suddenly we had permission to close down a street, and we had literally 8 weeks to make this happen. So because in the Future Play Lab, it's not just me, there's about 30 different people connected to the lab. So really that was the first thing, was to draw in that network of people who already were subscribed or kind of like thinking in similar ways. actually make something like this happen. So getting a street closed down, I won't go into the detail of that, but that's at least 10 days work. But by doing that, you learn about, well, what is a street, and who belongs to the street, and what happens when you close a street. That's interesting in itself. And then when it happened, well, the next question is, if you can do that, what do you fill it with? Because we had limited time, limited resources, how do we make it not just an empty street? Using the material of the street, so really working with the city as material. So in fact, everything in this world that has been built here are things that you would normally find on the street. Material pallets from packing, milk crates, urban signs, chalk markings, trees, all of these materials are literally what the streets are made of. So essentially it's a kind of like, if you think about it, it's a deconstructed street, and we let people play with it.
This is Christy Clemens here with
Citizen Tree.
KT.
Unknown.
Flex Metro.
I'm Angel Capitals.
I'm Hyper Exec. This is Win.
Andrew.
Chris.
Lawmaker Lex McMahon.
Lynn.
I'm Reg.
Kel Glaster, and I'm playing the NPC Hope Punk.
And what is your faction?
City AI.
City AI.
City AI.
Double Agent.
Leader of Bear Brass.
And
Symbiosis.
Symbios faction.
Pretty hopeful.
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 Hopefully, yes.
Very hopeful.
What's been fantastic is watching people work together. We set up a game that, in some senses, pitted people against each other, and almost every player chose instead to cooperate and chose instead to create things together and across any artificial divisions we gave them. So I think it's been wonderful to watch the almost natural instinct of people to work together to create spaces and create communities, just done in a really fast and interactive and collaborative way. It's given me a lot of hope for the future, really.
That's okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Amazing, thank you.
Our research in the lab has found that play is not only regenerative, and there's lots of evidence to show that, but what we're more interested in is showing how play is also imaginative. And when you situate play directly in relation to the world around you, it creates moments of possibility. So even if those moments of possibility, say for example in this LARP experiences, so at the end of the day, Cardigan Street is going to go back to what it was before, right? But people will have all of these experiences that they remember and that they connect with particular moments that they had at particular places on that street that showed that another world was possible. And so this is what we're really interested in. This is the kind of reason for, or the kind of, I guess, purpose for the games that we're making, is to create those moments of possibility for people to see that this particular street, this particular neighborhood is not fixed. It has many possibilities. It has many, there are many opportunities, as there are also challenges. And so play in itself, because it takes people into that space of possibility, it takes away the stakes, right? You don't actually have to make these things happen. But along the way, who knows, some possibilities might emerge that could happen. And then now that people have a shared collective memory of this place as something else, it means that that possibility is closer to becoming reality.